So I've been seeing something trend on TikTok for I think since last week or last 2 weeks, where Ukrainians and Russians that flee from the war went to Sri Lanka and they built a bar just for white people. I don't understand the context. I don't even know if it's true. I know nothing about it. I've just been seeing people talk about it on TikTok. So today I decided to bring a full video. Hopefully we can gain some context from this. But let's get to it.
Remember when we talked about Ukrainian refugees that were fleeing their country because of the Russia-Ukraine war and arriving in the UK and being shocked that black people live in the UK amongst the whites, right? And they were shocked to see Muslims are around. And I remember how people responded to that story, because it's bizarre that in this day and age people can react the way they're reacting to different skin tones and different people or different religions. So I'll remind you, in case you forgot about that story, I'll show you in a little bit, but I want to tell you what the story is about today, and it is about the same thing happening but in Sri Lanka. This time around, Russian and Ukrainians that left the war and went to different countries as refugees, as people that need help from these different countries and different people, how they are acting in other people's countries. And in Sri Lanka specifically, they have allegedly opened a white-only bar.
Been criticized by locals for allegedly setting up whites-only
Draft dodging Russians and Ukrainians allegedly set up a whites-only bar in Sri Lanka.
bars.
So you mean to tell me that a bunch of these people escaped their war-torn country to seek refuge in a different country, and the first thing that they figured out was how to segregate themselves from the locals? It just seems like it's such a natural, ingrained, evolutionary state for them. Like, where does it actually come from? I'm just so curious.
You cannot make this stuff up. These are the same.
It is actually true. I was praying that this is not true, because you're seeking refuge, which means you can get kicked out. But then you want to be segregated. You want to be away from the locals. You want to show the difference between you and them. Instead of, you should be looking for a way to coexist or a way to blend in so they don't feel like you're not one of them. Because like, if you're seeking refuge, that's the thing you should be trying to do. Like, trying to eat the food, trying to like relate to the people, be nice to them, just so you get and become a part of the culture. Rather than going there and the first thing you're doing is to try to be apart or away from them. I was praying that that isn't the case, unless I don't understand or I don't still have the full context. But if that's the full context, pardon me, but if that is the real thing that went on there, then it's horrible. It's bad.
People that were fleeing their countries, both Russia and Ukraine, because of the ongoing conflict, but somehow they find a way to exclude others in their own countries. So this is why I mentioned earlier, do you remember when the war first broke out and the UK and other European countries were opening their doors to let in these refugees? Because guess what? These are not the same kind of refugees. These are not black refugees. These are not Arab refugees. So they welcomed them with an open arm, and they were even saying that these are blue-eyed, blonde-haired people like us. We should care more. And it was a whole controversy, if you remember. So when they were let in the UK, they were shocked to see how black people are there and Muslims are there in the same communities as white people. Watch this clip, we'll come back and discuss.
After a week of staying there, her guest told her there were too many Muslims in the area.
We were quite shocked at how difficult she found different cultures.
She felt there were just too many Muslims.
Too many Muslims, too many people with different skin colours.
Her guest's son was enrolled into the local school, where the majority of children happened to be black and Asian.
How do you go to somebody's house and feel like you're the one who's entitled? I mean, I don't know. I'm trying so hard not to judge the people they're talking about right here. I'm trying so hard to, try to understand them. But if I'm going to somebody's house, I want to observe. I want to like learn and see, do I sit on the couch yet? Or do they always sit on the couch only when they're watching TV? Do I wear my shoes in the house or do I keep it outside? Like, you want to observe how they live out there rather than just go into the house, lay on the couch and nap on the couch. Like, you want to pay attention. Like, how do you go there and you're like, oh, there's too many of this people, there's too many of that people. It means if they let you to, thrive there, you're gonna give these people a lot of problems. You're gonna be the king now and sending people out.
And then to just have her complain about the demographic of the school and going, well, he can't be safe there. There's not enough white kids, essentially. The majority of my neighbours are Muslims. A lot of them are Kashmiris or Pakistanis, Indians, and they're wonderful people. And you just felt if you just would sort of give them the time, perhaps we'd come to the same conclusion.
They both agreed to end the placement.
Where I became to the worst area of the Birmingham, unfortunately.
Oksana moved here from Kyiv last summer. She admits that at first, living side by side with so many different cultures made her feel afraid.
I was very afraid because it was not usually for me, and and some people just told me about so many dangerous stories.
As you saw, that was
Dangerous stories?
such a shock for these refugees, and they were not able to adapt and live amongst the others.
But I don't know about Ukraine, but I do know a lot of black people or different cultures live in Russia. So, I mean, I only heard Kiev in that video. I'm not saying it's just Ukraine, but I would say, like, as a Russian, if you're Russian, according to what I know, and you move to another place and you see different cultures and you're surprised by that, then where do you live in Russia? Because I do know there's a good number. Like, I had some friends, a lot of friends actually, that schooled in Russia. So yeah, I have an admission actually to study in Crimea State Medical University. I had an admission, I didn't go. But I do know like a lot of black people and different cultures live in Russia. And I would assume a lot of black people and different cultures live in Kiev too. So if you say you're surprised to have different cultures in London, where were you living in Kiev? Because maybe I'm wrong.
This explains why, when the war first broke out, they were treating our people like they were not human beings, like they don't deserve to live. They were prioritizing their own people to get on that train, to get on that bus, to get on that flight, to leave Ukraine, but they were not allowing others, especially black people, on those buses and trains. If you remember, there was even a sad story that came out when they were saying, okay, now pregnant women, mothers, we're going to give you the priority to come in the bus that is leaving. It was not safe for people, right? So there were black women that were trying to get on the bus because they're pregnant, because they have kids. They were told, no, not you, Ukrainians, not you, our people. So it was just such a sad time to report on, and we've seen so many people cry, walk miles and miles, and for hours and for days. So it explains why that happened to them, because clearly they don't see our people as human beings, and they've proven to us time and time again. I guess it's up to us now to believe them when they tell us who they are. But anyways, fam, let us know down below.
To believe? Okay, I guess that really happened. But the video encompassed a lot of things, I don't see like real evidence. I only heard her say it, but I don't know if the restaurant actually existed. I mean, because I'm not saying she's lying. I'm not trying to doubt her, but I'm just hoping that this is not true. Like, this is not the case. Because it sounds stupid. How do you go to a country as a refugee, and the first thing you build is a bar that excludes the locals? Like, how can you fathom that? Even while you're writing down the business plan and you think about that, nothing tells you that this is wrong. And even while you're talking to it with your partners, no partner saw anything wrong with that. Yeah, man, like, I just hope this is not true. Like, I want to doubt this. I want to prove beyond reasonable doubts that this is not true or this is true. I need to know. Anyway, share your thoughts. If there's anything you want to add, correct, or critique, feel free to talk to us in the comment section. I'll put the link to this channel in the description, the Africa Diaspora News channel, so you can go check them out. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.